I feel very strongly that people should come see our production of Blues in the Night at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, because you really have four artists holding a standard that you just don't see every day. You just don't see the standard of PARRIS, MANN, JENNA, BYRD, Karole, Foreman, and VIVIAN Reed. And they are giving themselves so completely to this work. The musicians, our musical director, William Foster McDaniel, and all of the musicians, Dale Atkins on bass, Clayton Cameron on drums, Scott Mayo on woodwinds, and Fernando Pullum on trumpet. The collective company, they give themselves so beautifully to the work, and they all have so many years of doing this work at a high standard. And when it comes together in the form of the presentation of Blues in the Night, it is absolutely worth the drive and the cost and everything associated with getting to the theater, in my feeling. Hello, my name is Wren Troy Brown, and I'm the producing artistic director and founder of Ebony Repertory Theatre. We hope that you would come see our production of Blues in the Night. And if you want to learn more about Blues in the Night and about Ebony Repertory Theatre, please watch this conversation. I first saw a production of Blues in the Night in the early 90s at the Los Angeles Theater Center. We call it LATC. It was under the direction of the man who conceived the show, my beloved friend and colleague, Sheldon Epps. It was down there with an extraordinary cast of Joanne Jackson, who played the lady from the road. The woman of the world was played by the great Freda Payne. The girl with a date was played by the Tony Award-winning actress Leilani Jones. And the man in the saloon was played by a gentleman who is nearer to me than a brother, Mr. Oba Babatunde. And so it was so wonderful. The evening was so rich. It was so realized. I was so engaged and entertained. And the play and the evening that is Blues in the Night has never left me. And so when there came an opportunity for me to direct this work, I was asked by Karen Desai, the producing artistic director at ICT, if I would come down and direct it. And I said, absolutely yes. And then as we were finding ourselves coming out of the pandemic, desiring a first show to present as a part of Ebony Repertory Theater's return, it just made sense that we would continue the production 3 weeks there at ICT and then 4 weeks at the Ebony Repertory Theater, because I just believe that it's a tremendous opportunity for audiences just to lose themselves and to escape into another time that was rich, that was special, and that navigated the blues in such a way that it touched on the human condition for everybody. And so that's why we decided to bring Blues in the Night to Ebony Repertory Theater as its first play after the pandemic. The main story of Blues in the Night, it's set in 1948 in Chicago, in a hotel that has seen better days. And there are three women in this hotel. There's the girl with a date. She's young and idealistic and greatly gregarious, and she's in search of love. There is the woman of the road, played by the august Karole Foreman. The girl with the date is played by JENNA, BYRD, but Karole Foreman, who is just, for me, a gigantic artist and a tremendous human being, she plays the woman from the road. I'm sorry, the woman of the world. And she is in the middle phase of her life. And, which way do I go with my life? Chaos or community? What's happening? I've had high life, but I'm living in this small hotel room, ostensibly this efficiency room. And then there's a lady from the road who had been a vaudevillian, who has seen it all. And so she's questioning what will become of her life, raising this question to God, what will become of my life? And so they're all there in varying states of ennui, if you will, and they come together to present aspects of their lives, their careers, and they come together and they have a right to sing the blues. And so that's generally and basically what Blues in the Night is about. There is one man in the show, the man in the saloon, and this man is almost like the Greek chorus. He's just an individual, so let's call him the Greek individual, if you will. He observes the world where these women find themselves in this hotel. There is a band that resides in this hotel, and he sits in with the band as a man in the saloon. He is a tap dancer in this particular production. He's a singer, but he's an observer most particularly, and he observes all three of these women. And we eventually not only hear his observations, but we get a chance to get a little insight into who he is as well. We get a chance to observe him and his behavior. And so that role is played by PARRIS D. MANN, and it's just so felt and experienced so beautifully. I've just watched PARRIS grow in this work, and it is such a joy to watch him every single night. I mentioned to you JENNA, BYRD. I was not familiar with JENNA, BYRD as a young artist in Los Angeles. I was aware that she had done a lot of work around town, but we came to know each other through the audition process. Michael Donovan and Richie Ferris, the tremendous casting directors who work for ICT, sent her tape along, and she just jumped out. And we said, oh, no, we got to go with this young lady. I've spoken about the brilliant and august Carole Foreman, but I tell you, Vivian Reed is a 2-time Tony nominee. She plays the lady from the road. I've known her for many years personally. She's a New York-based actress, but I've known her even since I was 12 years old when she starred in Bubbling Brown Sugar. She was on the first national tour after leaving Broadway at the Pantages Theater. And I went with my grandmother and my mother, and I'll never forget her electric performance in Bubbling Brown Sugar, particularly with the great song Sweet Georgia Brown and God Bless the Child and other things that she sang majestically in that production. I would love the audience to take away just a sense of the nostalgia at its best, songs, and really remember when melodies were really beautiful, when lyrics were wonderful, take you back to a time that was much less chaotic than the time we're experiencing right now. And certainly there were difficulties in 1948. We had just come out of a world war. We were soon to enter into the Korean conflict. There were so many things happening around the world. The armed forces in this country were desegregated in 48. Restrictive housing covenants were struck down in 48. Israel became a state in 1948, and apartheid was signed into law in 1948. So the world, there was a lot going on, but I hope the audience would take away really the beauty of gorgeous melodies, of having tremendous fun with songs that have a double entendre edge to them. And so just to take away a sense of their funny bones being tickled, and they have a moment, 2 hours to escape and to go back into some dinner with someone or to gather with friends and talk about a wonderful, easy, fun, and hilarious at times, but beautiful night they had in the theater. What I'm personally looking for when I see the performances in Blues in the Night, I'm looking for the story to be told in such a way that every single audience member does not have to be confused about what the story is, that these artists investigate their lyrics at a level that is so personal that the story just comes through. And then when you add melody to tremendous storytellers and the movement of Keith Young's beautiful choreography, that's what I'm looking for when those things are executed and it doesn't look like they've been directed. It doesn't look like they've been choreographed, but it looks like it's almost improvisatory, that it's happening right in the moment. And that's what I look for when that spontaneity is there and that electricity is there. And then the audience can take a beautiful, beautiful journey. We at Ebony Repertory Theatre believe our presence is very important. We believe that we provide a service to the city of Los Angeles and our larger community because we want to respect our audiences. We want to deliver a high standard of performing arts, and we want people to be able to come into our theater chamber, what I would, my beloved Oba Babatunde calls our jewel box, and to be able to see themselves reflected on stage and to see themselves as whole and to be able to leave that theater chamber feeling better about who you are and what you are. So that is one of the great important reasons why I believe Ebony Repertory Theatre should be supported. When you support Ebony Repertory Theatre, you support an entire community, because our goal is to have people come in there and leave better by seeing themselves as a whole human being. And so I think that's the greatest worth of anyone who's considering supporting Ebony Repertory Theatre. My name is Wren Troy Brown, and I am the producing artistic director of Ebony Repertory Theatre. Our present production on until December 5th is Blues in the Night, conceived by Sheldon Epps, starring Jenna Bird, Carole Foreman, PARRIS D. Mann, and Vivian Reed. We're at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, 4718 West Washington Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90016. And our website is www.ebonyrep.org. Come see the work of all these extraordinary artists, all these extraordinary designers in Blues in the Night at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center until Sunday, December 5th.